Today we'll be taking a close look at the Syntax Error 2 by Alexander FX. Let's go. While the syntax error may be best known for its ability to conjure up 8-bit video game nostalgia, it can also produce some pretty texturally rich ambient tones. And that's what we're going to be diving into today. But first, a quick start guide. Alright, so in true quick start guide fashion, we're going to kind of plow through this and we're going to take a look at our inputs and outputs. And starting here, we're going to have a basic input here, but not necessarily too basic. By way of using a TRS cable, you are able to change this into a stereo input. We have two effects outs here, and at the time of shipping these pedals, you have a wet and dry output. Now you can change that by going into your global mode. To go into our global mode, we hold our mode button and we tap our control switch. And then you'll advance through the pages here and you will be able to change your outputs to stereo, which is actually what we're going to be doing for the purpose of this demo as well. To exit, hold the mode button. The last port here is going to be our multi-port, and that is where we actually can put an expression pedal or a multi-MIDI cable. We can get more settings that way. All right, the very next thing that we're going to take a look at is our mode button here. By turning this mode here, you'll notice that it changes the modes, of which there are 6 modes. Each mode has its own set of controls here that are unique to that effect. Now, clicking the mode switch will help us to advance to the very next page. And here you're going to see that we have control over our pitch, and we also have control over the mix of the pitch. We have volume and we have tune. If we click it one more time. And now, for the true heart of the Syntax Error 2, it's going to be lies here within its mini sequencer, which includes a versatile and powerful mini sequencer. Yeah, where you can control any of the pedal's knobs. This enables you to create, animate textures, arpeggios, the LFO effects, and more. Now, we've got these knobs here. They're going to be our ABXY knobs right up top here. And these will directly control the values of each of the sequencer steps so that you can dial them in and tweak them to your heart's content. Now, when we scroll down here, you'll see that these are the varying things that we have control over. Okay. And I'll leave you to kind of discover all of the rest of those finer nuances. Now, to exit out of here, we click the mode. Now, after you've made any and all of your changes, to save a preset, you simply hold the mode button and then we click the bypass. Now we're afforded the ability here to actually change the name, and we can change in the order in which this preset arrives to us. I'm okay with my settings, so I just click on the control switch and that'll take me right back out here. To advance through your presets, just simply hold the bypass switch. Alright, first up is going to be air mode, which is a grainy, lo-fi reverb effect similar to very early digital and analog reverberation devices. It's got a real nice slow build to it. I'll bring it in here and let you hear what it sounds like. Alright, so first up we have our sample knob here. So Sample Crusher reduces the depth of the sample rate. It's there if you want it, and if not, you just turn it down. We're going to keep ours down for the purpose of this demo. Next up is going to be size, which controls the decay time and simulated size of the reverb chamber effect. Next is going to be soft, which sets the diffusion amount. Higher settings are smoother sounding. Next up is going to be our pre-delay, which controls the pre-delay time. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip the switch and you'll be able to see my next set of settings. Okay. And you'll notice that I have the switch here set to sequence the pitch. Click one more time and we're back home. Alright, next up we have frequency mode, which adds or subtracts a set of frequencies from the input signal, like pitch shift, but all of the intervals are broken. We have our sample knob, which again will reduce the depth of the sample rate. Next up we have our shift, which shifts the frequency amount. Smaller amounts are in the center of the range. Next we have the feed, which controls the feedback intensity. And next we have delay, which delay sets the delay time after the shift effect happens. Now we're going to move forward so you can see what I have going on under the hood here. And now when I engage my control switch, you'll see what we have being sequenced. Alright. As you can see, we have it controlling the shift knob. And there it is. Frequency mode. I really love this one. Next up we have cube mode, which is a math-based cubic distortion and fuzz effect with a turnable resonant filter. So we've got a few different effects going on here. So this first knob here is going to be the drive knob, which controls the distortion amount. We've got a filter knob here, which sets the resonant filter cutoff frequency, and a resonance, which turns the resonance. Okay, now let me scoot through here and I'll show you what we got going on under the hood. So there you have it, cube mode, pretty fun. Next up is going to be frequency mode again. In terms of ambient sounds, this is one of my favorite. And so again, we have shift, which shifts the amount of the frequency. And we've got feedback again, which, as you know, controls the feedback. And then we've got the delay, which you know what that is. Now this time I'm going to engage my control switch and you're going to be able to hear what's being sequenced. I'm going to click through so you can see my settings. I really love this. This is probably one of my favorite modes for ambient playing. so lovely. Like slipping into a dream. Next up, we have wave mode, which I love this one. If you love lo-fi, this is the one for you. So wave is a time-based modulator used for chorus, vibrato, flanger, and even some FM effects. And I've got the mix all the way up. Our controls are going to be, we've got definitely our sample, as you know. We've got rate, which sets the modulation speed, which is at its absolute lowest. We've got depth, which controls the amount of modulation. Feedback amplifies the feedback of the modulation, which gives us those flanger sounds. Now I'm going to scoot through here. Now, if we want more of that kind of tape, dirt, I've set my sequencer to control the tone. You hear how it kind of sounds like it's chewing on itself a little bit, just stuttering. And this is how we have it set up. Now if we go back, you'll notice that I have my pitch slightly detoned. So kind of parked around like 11 o'clock. And max all the way up. We can turn this off if we want. Now we can bring in more flanger-like sounds by turning this knob here. Bring in some of our bit crusher if you want. Next up is going to be stretch mode. This mode records the input signal into a sample buffer and then plays it back in real time. Great for glitchy, delay effects. So we've got this knob here which sets the playback speed and the direction. We've got this knob here which changes the size of the sample buffer and feedback. I'm going to scroll through here and we'll see how I got everything set up. So it's playing forward and reverse, like a broken cassette player. Real fun. Well, we've reached the end of yet another demo, and I hope you've had as much fun as I have. Our final thought comes from Sigmund Freud, who once wrote, "From error to error, one discovers the entire truth." All right. We'll catch you in the next one.